So we'll get to my first slide in a minute, but I wanted to start out, first of all, who's new to the group? Just so we just have an idea. Okay, so almost half. That's crazy, that's awesome.
They'll all be doing hot seats.
Yeah, the reason I was asking is because I'm wondering how many, I mean, I did a hot seat in St. Thomas, and because I have an amazing coach, named John here, he asked me to do another one, and I said, okay, for you, John, anything. So, first thing I wanted to just really get out of the way was, you know, the coaching that I've received, and I'm going to go through my history quickly because some of you have already seen it. It's invaluable, and I've been very fortunate not to just have John, but Mike Reese in his ear over the last 6 months, but really even like really the last 3, where I'm like, man, I need your help. And it wasn't because John couldn't help me, but it was because Mike had his head down working on everything that he just presented, and Alex has been great too. Just having that person to, hey man, I'm stuck. What about you? And I think it goes both ways. So I just wanted to mention that's when I joined Mastermind, was it 2012 when we started?
You weren't in the first one.
No, but I was in the Kentucky Derby. Is that 12? Yeah. So it was magical then, and it's still magical today. So that's awesome. So I'll start with my whys. These are my 2 boys, Aiden and Matthew. And of course LeBron. Cleveland's done a really big 360 in where it was. There's just a lot of good stuff. Republican National Convention's coming in about 6 months, and that's my wife, the why, and we like to spend time at the lake. So here's my quick, you know, from 2008, worst year of my life. I'm going to go real quick on this. You can see just the gradual ascent from 2009 when I first saw Jay Kinger's video. It was a for sale by owner video. I still watch it once a year or use it to train on as well. Joined Mastermind in 2012. And, you know, I'll go to the next slide, but if you can look at the 2013 when we went independent, I've kind of plateaued. So here's where we ended last year at 1.2 million GCI. 246 sides. What's happened between 13, where we had our best year, until 14, when we didn't have our best year, we actually took a slide down. And if you notice, the reason is well, I actually don't have it on here, but in 2013, our average sales price was 196, and then it fell. Yeah, well, okay, 195, and it fell to 168. I really don't know exactly why. I have an idea how I'm gonna fix it, but I don't know. I know one thing. I stopped going on all the listings. So anyone who's been here for a couple of years in this mastermind has known the pains I've gone through and trying to step away from sales. And I had to do it twice and hop back in twice because the money was just disappearing magically after everything that we built up. And the biggest lesson, I guess I can tell everyone who's considering going in that direction is that, and this is something, you know, John told me straight up. You know you're going to have to do about, what was it, 3 or 4 times the amount that you were doing personally to replace the income, because you're going to be having to pay a listing agent and whatnot. And I heard him and I knew it, and I just felt that, you know, that the 2 people that I was training could pick that slack up. What I didn't bank on is the ramp up. You heard Mike talking about ramp up. And he obviously has done a much thorough scientific way of figuring out what that ramp up would be. I had no idea what that ramp up. So I got hit with the smack and had to jump back in. So 2015 was our best year. I sold the least amount of houses that I've ever sold. In 2000, I stopped going on listing appointments, but I did have some sales in there just because friends and family, I still enjoy working with some of my family. The rest I'll refer. But, so that's the growth history. I had an identity crisis. In 2013, when we left RE/MAX and went independent, I was fortunate enough, I'll get into the brokerage part of it, but we looked at our fees, we're like $100,000 and Remax fees wasn't for me, so it was time to go. And but I didn't know how I wanted to grow the company. I had this really wacky idea of partnering with people all around Cleveland. I think I might have presented that in one of the masterminds, and
we told you you're crazy.
yeah, I was told I was crazy. So so my idea, because we have Remax people in here. So the sign, at least my Remax sign, had the Remax logo down here, and then the Stasek Group logo up top. So because I didn't know how I was going to grow it, I had an idea, but I wasn't sure. I kind of kept it the same. Instead of the Remax logo, we just had the Real Expert Advisors logo. I still like it. That was the problem. Is that everyone told me, "What are you doing?" Not only myself, but my father has his real estate license since the mid '80s. And he did it part-time, but still, the name, and his name's Al too, was out there. I was told I was nuts for switching away from my name, and I agree with everyone who told me that, but it was too late. It wasn't too late. I had already done it, bought all the signs. So this past year, we switched to Stasek. Yes, absolutely. It's not that I never took my name off, because we had Stasek Group up there, but it was an extremely hard sign to read too. So now you can't miss it. It's very clear. The branding is good. I'm going to go back into. What's funny about when you say that, because when we switched to Real Expert Advisors, everyone thought we were financial advisors, and we got that all the time. Who are you? One of the biggest reasons we switched was because from my ISAs to my agents, every time they would say, "Where are you calling from?" and they said Real Expert Advisors, they say, "Where?" And then they say Stasek Group. "Oh, yeah, I've heard of you." So that name just it just made sense. But I didn't know what I didn't know. So last year, I'm going to go into the contribution, because it was a big thing. When we started the independent brokerage, we didn't know how we wanted to give back. We were doing Rainbow Babies. It was a children's hospital, basically, through Remax. And I was super happy with that. But I found out that they had a lot of money, tons and tons and tons of money. They didn't even know what to do with. And I felt that our dollars should go to where they can have the biggest impact. So, a friend of mine, this is the Rock and Restock. It's a concert that I threw. Anyone who follows me on Facebook probably saw some of the pictures. It was awesome. I got this idea from a friend of mine. Some of you guys know Chad Goldwasser. Everybody? So Chad, I met Chad, and this is why it's cool that everything just all comes back. I met Chad at the Dallas bar, the Marriott, at the first EGS. He was a speaker, but I didn't know who he was. So we're sitting at the bar. I was by myself. I knew nobody, and I sat there. I sat next to him. We started rapping, and you're like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "Well, I'm speaking tomorrow." "Oh, really? Who are you?" He's like, "Well, I was the #1 KW agent in the world a couple years ago, but nobody really, this and that." So chances are, we have the same birthday, we hit it off, we became friends. And he's been doing this in Austin for 12 years, and raised a ton of money for the food bank in Austin. And the publicity he's gotten is ridiculous. And he's having fun, and he's throwing a party, and it's a concert, and him and I align a lot on that. I love music and live music. So I threw the first one in Cleveland, and it was awesome. We raised $5 grand. We always equate the money that we raise for the food bank into meals. For every dollar you donate, it provides 4 meals. So we based our goals for 2015 off of how many meals we wanted to provide, and that's part of our mission statement as well. So between the sales, which accounted for about 24,000 meals, and Rock and Restock, we provided 44,000 meals. So we're pretty proud of that. Here's the one thing I will say is we have to do a better job, before I move on to the work chart, we have to do a better job of making it known to our listing people, or even buyers. Because when I was with Remax, they made a big deal of CMM. That's the Children's Miracle Network. They made a big deal. It was part of the presentation. Like, hey, every time we sell a house, we donate to CMM, and it helps the sick babies. And people love that. And the donation was made in their name. So we're not doing a good enough job of articulating the fact that when when you sell your house, you're feeding 100 meals to Cleveland's hungry. And it is a big deal. Because, I mean, with all the money that we have in America, people shouldn't be hungry. So that's something that I just have to figure out how we're going to articulate. So this is the work chart. We just added Joel Hollow. He was an agent, but he's a leader. And everyone, I think the entire group not only like him, but they listen and they respect him. So he was the obvious tap to take a lot of things off my plate as far as sales goes. His primary role as director of sales is to make sure that holding accountable all of our listing partners, buyers, agents to their goals. He does one-on-ones for a half an hour every other week with all the agents. He's also responsible now for the inside sales team. Now, these three people right here are brand new. In fact, Ryan just started his first day of calling. He was in 2 weeks of training. These guys just got out of 2 weeks of training. I have some stats to share with you because they sent them to me. But they're already killing it. He just set a $500,000 listing appointment today. Yeah. First day calling. So that was awesome. This is the guy that I got from Dial America. Joe's been with me. Ryan replaced Matt Millia. Some of you know him if you get on the Thursday calls. He stepped aside to do a different venture we have going, so we can focus on that. And I think we got a winner. It was a big shoe to fill. Matt killed it. I mean, I know that some of you probably think, I mean, you obviously have an awesome ISA here. He's definitely top. I sit there and listen to him, so I know. It's amazing how he can set an appointment and just get someone totally comfortable, talking like crazy to the fact where they don't even know why they're talking and letting them. And that's just, there's just talent. Sometimes it's hard to teach that talent. I just believe that. Closing coordinator, Allison, Amy, our listing coordinator, and Colin's our part-time guy. Worked with your brother-in-law over at, was it?
Accenture, yeah.
Accenture. Building out Disney CRM. He came to work for me a couple of years ago. He gets all my technology stuff across the line. And he does a really good job, and he does it quick. He also rebuilt my quad track so that it's all on Google Docs. He built anyone else's. A couple of my coaching clients wanted an online version, so basically took mine. So that's the team. My dad, he wasn't on the org chart, so I threw a picture of us in there. So my dad's the broker of record. At my last hot seat, it was a threat. It still is, but it's less of a threat because I have all my classes done and I just got to pass the test. So I've been eliminating the threat of. So my dad, you know, had his broker's license since the '80s. He was in retirement, 2013. I said, Dad, you know, you feel like you can still go golfing every day, but can I put a few bucks in your pocket and you be the broker? He's like, okay. I didn't think I was going to get an okay, but that's what allowed me to open independent quicker than it would have been if I would have had to go through the motion. So he comes into the meetings, checks in, makes sure that we're all behaving. I just threw some key stats because I thought that listening to some other people's presentations, those are statistics I want to hear, like the percentage we pay out of commissions to agents. We're at 40%, meaning the company kept 60%. By the way, we have a tiered commission plan that goes from 50 to 60 to 70% paid out to the agent every month if they get hired. So between $0 and $10,000 a month, it's 50-50. At $10,001 to $17,000 in GCI, it goes to 60. And anything above $17,000 in GCI they close that month, it goes to 70. I've had that for a couple of years, yet my margin's still 40%. The reason that we're still keeping 60% of the dollar is that we have a 5% brokerage fee, which may change with some of the models that we're modeling with Kinder Reese. But we also have ISA fees. So if an ISA fee sets, or if an ISA, if they kill it and have a good month and they get over 10 grand, it could go up to 35%. The highest it could go up to, because of the way the scale set up, is 45. But as a whole, that's what it is. We're at 15% pre-tax profit.
What's your average sale?
Pardon?
Your average sale?
Price this year? Yeah, 168, I think. Yeah, we didn't look it up, but I have a strategy I'm going to share with you on how I can get that up. What's that? No, I thought you asked the average sales price.
Yeah, average sales price.
No, our average commission, I mean, we charge between 6 and 7%. Anything under 200, we go for 7, maybe 6.5. They'll get us down, but that's kind of common in our area, whereas the average sales price in our area, I think, is like 140. So we're definitely above the average for our area. The way I did my MSAs, it's all 2 to 250.
So you said 5, but is that one side 5%?
I said the brokerage fee is 5%.
I just said the brokerage fee is 5%. So I'm sorry. So when everything's split, 5% is taken off the top before the splits to the agents.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I got it.
Yeah. No. So we're building our partner model in Cleveland in line with Kinder Reese. You already heard Paul Mike's presentation, which I've been very fortunate and thankful that he's allowed me to chew on his ear every other day on the weekends, on the way down to skiing with the kids. You know, the kids are working away on their iPads or whatever. I'm talking to Mike. We're figuring out. What's great about, and I just want to mention this, is that what's great about, I'm not comparing the way John coaches to Mike, but it's different. There's a total difference with the both. The biggest thing for me with Mike is he doesn't give me the answers. He forces me to figure it out. And so, you know, I'll start talking to him about one thing and he'll be like, is that your biggest problem? And it's really forced me to go back and really figure out what is the goal, what is the biggest problem, and am I working on that? You know, and that's really what needs to be your number one priority, is what is your biggest bottleneck to your goal. He also made me work on a new huddle and impact zone schedule and rhythm. So this has been great. We used to just do one huddle at 8:30. Everybody either was in the office or called into the conference line. And we did a huddle. So I'm sure most of you guys do a huddle. We switched that up after adding 2 more people to the ISA department. We now have an ISA huddle at 8. We have an outside sales agent, so OSA huddle at 8:15, and then a leadership huddle. And now that Joel is taking responsibility of sales, he's just bringing me I'm not involved in the first 2 huddles unless I want to be. I'm just getting the 8:30 huddle. I'm on there with Joel. He's feeding me the numbers. If we're good, we're good. It's really allowed me to focus on the vision of this model, recruiting more partners, and it's been great. So here's our market. This is a magazine that I've advertised in for several years called NEAE, and I just took they have such a cool map that we used it to draw on. So obviously Cleveland's here. No, the inner city part we really don't do any business in. It's the suburbs surrounding it, and that's why they call it the diamond necklace, because it's a necklace around it. Our market has always been, not even probably including half of Medina County. So it's basically, this has been our market for the last 6 years.
Where's your office?
Our office is about, Johnny lives over here. I live here.
That's right.
And now this Johnny's house, Al.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. My office is right here, I think. There's no it's right by the airport. I can literally walk to the airport. It's kind of a cool location. And it's easy to get to the east side. So this is the east side. And in Cleveland, you're either an east sider or a west sider. You don't go to dinner on the east side if you're a west sider, and vice versa. There's cultural differences. I love the east side because they got stuff, eclectic stuff that the west side doesn't have. You know, the west side is more like California. The east side is more, I don't know. It's not bad. It's very different. It's more diverse. There's Case Western University there, and it's very diverse. People from all over the world. It's kind of cool. But it's not the west side. East side's old money, west side's new money. So it's just a difference. And realtors over here don't sell homes over here. It's just the way it is. But because of utilizing radio doesn't understand east side and west side. So we're getting tons of leads on this side of town, which is causing a strain for my listing partners. I have currently a partner for this MSA, this one, and this one. So there's 4.
You got the same problem.
What's that?
you can't control airwaves.
No.
So we get, you know, those people on the south side of Atlanta, we're on the north side.
Right.
So, I mean, you know, currently we're running them. You know, we have some awesome road warriors on the team that's hammering them out of the price points, right?
You know, my one girl lives like probably right here. She's actually, this is her MSA. She lives in this Marin County area here. Christy, she's one of my top agents. She's taking listings all the way over here in Solon. It's an hour drive each way. And then, you know, imagine doing that. And I mean, how many have gone to a listing appointment that an ISA set and it just wasn't that solid? I mean, we go to them that are solid, but when you go to one and you got to travel an hour there, that really pisses you off. So it's just, it's something we got to I got a guy with a verbal. He hasn't signed, but he's verbally said, I'm in. That'll be able to cover this area. So we start filling one for here, 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 and here. So we have, I'm not even counting this one because the average sales price kind of sucks, and I don't want to go back that way. Every single one of these MSAs, and Mike didn't get into this part of it, but I guess I'll share. It's a mathematic equation. It wasn't just geography that we drew these lines. Every single one of them has approximately the same amount of sales, which is about 1,500, which equates to about 3,000 sides. And the price point had to be there too. So they're different, but they're all between like 203 and 215. And you know, that's a good price point. I know I can hit my goals, my team can hit their goals. Like in your area, you're at 235, and I'm gonna go to 267. You know, I kind of wish I had that problem, but it is what it is. I'm here until I go take over St. Thomas, which will be next. I need to make sure that I take care of this over here.
Would you say each MSA had what were the numbers on their metrics?
And that was that a percentage of your marketplace, or why did you decide that was a healthy number? Was that in alignment?
That's in alignment with Kinder Reese, so Mike told me. All right, this is my plan. I showed some of the guys in our condo. This is a better version of it. So this is our listing appointment game plan, really. This is our game book for 2016. It includes outbound and inbound. The two, we call them visas because they're virtuals. They're already killing it in setting nurture appointments, and they've only been on the job 2 days. These are the assumptions we have laid out for each one. And there's a 50% ramp, which is probably not accurate. I just knew there was going to be one, and I don't know exactly what it would look like, but there's going to be a ramp because nurtures are nurtures, and those take time to mature. So I basically took 50% out for this year, and that's all. These numbers are extremely conservative. Anything that are on the low side, yeah.
So you got virtual assistants calling those?
I have 2 virtuals, full-time, hammering circle diamond. That's all they're doing.
Not to take too much time, but how do you get them speed dollars and they got headsets?
They're gonna be right through Money Tree.
Gotcha.
And I didn't have to buy them headsets because I got them through my office.
How much is it an hour?
That you can probably chat after about that. But yeah, I mean, it's like anything else, you know. If you want the cheapest of the cheap, you're gonna get. That's the result you're gonna get. So, the good news is for this year. I think someone might have alluded to it. You don't really need a highly skilled person. Those are very they're survey calls, sort of. We're not selling anything. We're really just inquiring, finding out. Your first thought would be. I've told this story in an interview 2 years ago when Mike Reese interviewed me about Elite, and I said, do you remember when I said when I was a little kid, my dad would take the Haynes directory and he'd sit up in the office after he worked his 8-hour blue-collar job on a tow motor, and he'd sit there and he'd dial 2 sides of the street before he went to bed. He'd get hung up on SORAT, and I'm like, I'm never doing that. But here we are, and I've listened to these calls because we've been training. We've never done them, so it's new to us. So Matt, I'm like, Amelia, hop on there and show him how it's done. He's never done it either. He's only called FSBOs, expireds, or incoming stuff. But you'd be surprised how many people talk to you. It's amazing. There's very few people that are giving you go to hell or taking you off. I mean, it's very few. Most people, because you're not really selling anything. You're just really checking in. Hey, the inventory's low. We just sold a house down the street at this, and this. we happen to have a ton of buyers for your area, and really there are no listings. Do you or any of your neighbors, do you know of anyone that's selling this year? We'd love to know, because we could probably get a transaction, completed for you pretty quickly. So.
Hey,
Yep.
where are you getting your data from for that?
Currently?
For the circle that.
Currently, I just bought the coal. So for now, that's what we're using.
Do you pay extra for the cell phones through Cole, or do you just?
I got the I have a gift coming to me very soon, as you heard.
Oh, okay.
And until that gift arrives
Yeah.
from the data Santa.
Can Santa come to my house?
Yeah, I'm going to use coal, and coal's not bad. Just if there's better, then get the better. Any questions on this before I move on?
Hey, I guess, is there any,
COLE?
no, is there any reason why you guys wouldn't use like slide out broadcasting and do the whole neighborhood or something?
We do. Yeah.
Well, we'll start incorporating those techniques as we get comfortable with the process, but yeah, we're looking for nurturers. That's the goal.
Is that a no-no? I mean, I've heard 2 or 3 different things about calling, doing slide out, the people who you have to talk to, or they have to go on your website.
It's
I don't know the answer to that, Jimmy,
Forgettable.
but I got 10 minutes, so I'm going to keep cranking because I want to get to the goal. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but this is the compensation for our in-house ISAs, not our outside ISAs. These are in-house, and this also aligns with the model. So I want to talk about radio leads. How many people are doing radio in here? Well, whether you're doing radio now or you're going to in the future. So Jeff Phelps is the voice of the Cavs after game, so that's on TV. He also has a radio show on the most popular sports talk radio in town in Cleveland, even though we usually have shitty teams, we still love our sports. It's amazing. It's like we're masochists. So, 92.3 The Fan, I have an $11.50 a week spend, which that's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money compared to what I know some other people spend. Started that in September. I was averaging 16 leads a month for the first 3 months of doing this. And mind you, this was also going into the holiday season. So 16 leads. It's not a lot of leads. Matter of fact, I remember when I was with Glenn Beck, after the ramp-up period, I think I was getting like 30. But that was a while ago. I'm getting 16.
How many of those convert? Are those serious? They want you to come meet them today?
Well, some of them we're setting appointments right away. We've already sold a couple of the houses, but just like anything else, there's a cash conversion cycle with this technique. That's why unless you're ready to do it. What's that?
What is it on those?
When I have a year worth of data to share, then I'll share that.
So I can.
It's too early to like throw anything at you.
I've done radio for about 3 years, and it started in the very first year. The phone rang maybe once in the first 6 months. I was probably 30 grand in before the phone started ringing, but it hasn't stopped ringing since.
Yeah.
And so most stations, it gets repetitive. They'll hear the same ad all the time. But you have to understand that the majority of the people who are listening aren't looking to sell their home that day. And so you just want to be front of mind when they are ready to sell. So radio's a long-term play. Instant gratification traditionally doesn't come. But it's also commonplace for the phone to ring once or twice in your first couple of weeks. So it's...
Yeah. You'll get the come list me's, right, Eric? You're going to get those. They're not all nurtures. Don't expect 30 come list me's. Unless you're spending maybe 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand. I know there's agents that spend $60,000, $70,000 a month just on radio. So this is small beans, but again, it doesn't cost anything if you're getting a return.
Albie, have you found that those are layups once you do get the appointment?
A lot of them are layup. Yeah, if they're ready to go, they often are, because they hear you on Jeff Phelps and they're like, they love Jeff Phelps. So the endorsement definitely works. And I'm short on time, so I don't mean to rush past, but I wanted to get to this because I think this might be a takeaway. So I never changed my spend, but I looked at the splash page we were using to land everybody at 59orless.com. So the URL I was using is 59orless.com. You won't see the other splash page because I took it out. It was something we built through Infusionsoft, and the conversion rate was terrible. I mean, probably less than 3% or something. It was just horrible. And we were doing a great job of driving them, so our message on the radio was right, but it wasn't matching what they were seeing when they landed online that they wanted. So we were just getting a poor conversion. So I said, well, what if we were to just switch and switch it no whiskers, which means the whiskers are give me your name, email address, phone number, and then I'll send you a report for 18% more. And that's worked. What I did was I switched it with another home valuation site that I could track. So I just went into Leads Today. I clicked and they gave, you can get another one and you pick it so for tracking. And I changed the message at the end of the radio to it's basically the same thing, the 59 days, but I changed it to, if you're thinking of selling your home in the next 6 months and you'd like to know the value, you can get it free online quickly at 59ls.com, that's 59ls.com, or call Al Direct at da-da-da-da-da. So you guys listened to, I think I played a couple of them, 5 times. So we had 90 radio leads come in January, and it's January. So my theory, and it is a theory, but someone in this room, and I won't name who, has confirmed that I might be on the right track. My theory was I'm still going to get the same 16 I was getting that you could argue were quality leads that had a poor conversion. My argument is I'm still going to get them, but I'm going to get more. So I'm not like losing the 16 to trade them for 90 bad leads, because what I found was that there are more leads in there. I'm not getting phone numbers on every one of them. I'd like to make it so that when you do a home valuation that you have to put a phone number in for some reason. In fact, I saw what I thought was awesome. It was instead of getting your thing emailed to you, he texted to you. So you get a phone number because they can't get it. You know what I mean? Like, why even? Let's just get a phone number. We'll text you your home value instantly. And I think it was Conversion, the KU, that was doing that. I just thought it was slick. I mean, this is definitely working for us as far as getting leads. I don't have the historical data because we just switched it. What I know is we're getting 5 times the amount of leads. And if anybody wants to talk about it, that was kind of my thing I wanted to share with everybody. So I guess where am I wrong? I'm open for anyone to tell me where I'm wrong. Nobody? So I guess I'm right?
Only the data can tell you if you're wrong.
I know. Well, I was just wondering if,
what percent of those 90 leads are they giving you their phone number?
I don't have that right in front of me this moment, but I could.
You can find it.
Oh yeah, it's all in Leads Today. So I mean, I could like that run a search and tell you how many. I would say we're getting out of those 90, more than half we got a phone number. I can't tell you how many of those were good.
And you're able to connect at this point?
Yeah, my ICAs are getting through. We're setting appointments.
Whatever. Sounds like it'll be a good data set there.
So it's just something I wanted to throw out. All right. So the good, bad, and ugly cancellation rate on listing appointments last year was. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. That's this year. It's 40%, and that kind of sucked. And that's actually including 3 that canceled this weekend. This isn't an excuse, but I'm trying to figure out why. And we did just train 3 new ISAs in the last 2 weeks, so that probably has a little to do with it. There's going to be a learning curve, and but just constant role playing is going to, I believe, is going to solve that. Continuing training every day, which is what we do. In 2015, I'm not here to paint all rosy pictures. We lost a lot of money and a lot of listings and appointments that were ran, but they listed with another broker. We track every single appointment. We know who ran it. We know the result of it. It's not some glamorous sheet. I'm working on building one. It's just a Google spreadsheet. So we have an impact zone meeting every single week where we go over every single appointment that was ran by the listing team and get the result. We also hold them accountable to a top 5. They always have top 5. So every morning they reel off their top 5 prospects that they've met with that they were able to get signed. Sometimes they say, well, they weren't ready. We have a script to getting around them already, but I don't know anybody, unless someone in here lists 100% of what they go out. We don't.
What's your follow-up system?
So our follow-up system, that's a really good question. So the cancellations go on a hot sheet for my ISAs. We've already contacted them. They already agreed to meet with us. We have some rapport with them, but they cancel because life gets in the way. Whatever.
Who takes the cancel call?
It goes right back to the ISA.
So the ISA took the cancel and didn't reschedule?
No. But like the people just canceled the listing appointment.
Yeah,
It was
but
set.
I mean, they didn't send up smoke signals, so how did you know they canceled?
Oh, they call.
So who took the
Call to
call?
confirm it. Like the agent called.
So the agent
the
called to
procedure
confirm
we
it?
have is that after the ISA sets it, the agent's supposed to call and introduce themselves, similar to what Eric Catch does. That's part of our process. And we've had it even where they're like, yeah, you know, hey, can we change it to this time? And they changed it to, this happened this weekend, they changed it to another time on Saturday, and they, again, called one more time before they made the drive out there, like, yeah, no, we can't, something came up, whatever. So those go back on the hot sheet of the ISAs, because I look at that as the highest priority person.
Yeah.
We already set the appointment. And before, that was a whole other business. My ISAs just kept calling new people, setting more and more appointments, and they were forgetting about all the cancellations. So that became.
So Eric, what's y'all's number on that? The agent calling and the cancellation. Or has there ever been an issue that y'all dealt with that?
So I can usually tell. I'll answer for you. I can usually.
hoping you would.
Yeah.
Because I don't fucking know.
So this is a thing, right? It is we always empower agents to do that, and this is why we're tracking this now, because I can always tell when someone cancels and whether they the agent actually called them, because they call me instead of calling the agent, right? The agent made that introduction call. They're probably going to either have that conversation and cancel with Albie or with the listing agent. So the thing is, we're probably only seeing now a 20-25% cancellation rate.
So my question would be is what, and this is just for everybody to think about, I guess. The data tells the story. If you're going to have an agent call, what is the outcome that you're looking to change on that call? If not, why not have the ISA set the expectation strong for the appointment? Don't be late. We're going to put a lot of effort into being there. This is the benefit, and then don't call them until you get there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
So I think it'd be a combination of both. I think you do that as an ISA, right? You have that whole conversation. You book that appointment. The whole thing is you got to start transferring that power, because the power in that relationship goes from the ISA, it needs to be transferred to the agent, right? Because ultimately,
not if you haven't got the appointment. I mean, if they cancel the appointment, now the agent's setting the appointment, or it's back in limbo, and that's what's happening to Our now. Is nobody owns it.
Yeah. So if they do cancel, what are your ISAs doing?
Well, if they cancel the appointment, the outside agent obviously lets the ISA know, hey, look, they canceled on me, and it goes right back into their top. It should go in their top 5 if they have room for it in their top 5. Their top 5 are the top 5 people, and I learned that right from NAEAs when I visited and stayed with you guys, and I sat in on your sales huddle, and they have their top 5 people, you know, and I'm like, damn, that's strong, because that keeps. Like every single morning, 5 days a week, you're making sure they know who they need to be calling, not like I'm gonna make calls. Like here are the top 5 people I'm gonna knock out today. And we also do that for our listing agents. The listing agents have their top 5, because part of that loss that you saw there was, you know, they'd go on an appointment and their result was, it was great, we want it, they just weren't ready. Or it was great, they gave me a verbal yes. And we have all of these tracked. I know exactly, you know. And then we started looking back, Joel and I, and we're like, they listed with someone else. They listed with someone else and sold. They listed with someone else and sold.
So was there no follow-up then? Like, do you have a
No,
follow-up?
there wasn't any follow-up. That's why we implemented. We did 2 things to fix this problem, and I don't know if you noticed. It's already showing results in the positive. 2 things. One, after the huddle, after good news, after metrics, after everything, we do what the top 5 is. So each person says their top 5, who their top 5 people to follow up, because unfortunately the follow-up is where we were. So the ISAs were doing a great job, but then the agents were going out there, and because we weren't training them enough to close on the first visit, if you will. And if they weren't closing on the first visit, they weren't following up well. So we didn't have a system in place. It's either system or people, right? Someone told me that. System problem, people problem. So it was both. So what we did is put a system for our people together, so that every single morning they know their top 5, and Joel records them, so we know. And we're like, all right, this guy's been on here for 2 weeks. What's going on?
What is your system though, as far as like putting it in the system to keep it in the top 5, but then like are you sending a thank you after that?
Oh yeah.
Meeting, like, what is
So
that?
so every appointment that we go on that we want, they get brownies. So if we don't want it, we don't send brownies. But if we want it, They get send out cards, so it's a canned thank you for meeting. If they've signed with us, they're going to get brownies, but it's just a welcome to the family. If they didn't sign and we want it, they get brownies. When I was listing houses and I didn't get them to sign the first day, I can't tell you how many tens of thousands of dollars I made off the brownies. Because they got the brownies and they're like, oh, thanks for the brownies. Hey, yeah, by the way, come back over and we'll sign.
Those are really good brownies.
I don't know that they did it because of the brownies, but what I'm saying is it's been something we've used. I think that it was just lack of follow-up. And so the top 5 keeps them focused every single day. And then we role play the front talk every single day. One person, goes against another agent. And it's now been going on for about 5 months, and it's literally ingrained in their brain. Like they hear it even when they don't want to be hearing it and they're trying to sleep. But they walk in the door and they're Johnny on the spot. It's happening. It's showing up in the numbers. Go.